You're watching Pitch to Production, the show where we take a random idea and turn it into a film, all within a month. Now, without further ado, lights, camera, action. Hey, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Welcome. That's not my brand, but we're back. Pitch to Production. It's been a while. Did you miss me? I hope you did, because I have a lot to tell you about. So, now, we're in the third week of April, and sorry about last week. I couldn't make it because I was super busy with producing. Name of the show, production. Check that out. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about here, but first things first, right? Maybe you guys have noticed that I took down my first short film, Dog Ear, and you're probably like, oh, maybe he's just mad embarrassed. I don't know why he did that. No, it's because it got submitted to a film festival and I got in. So big news there. What's up? I'm going to be in the Flamingo Film. Thank you, Abraham. I'm going to be in the Flamingo Film Festival this Saturday at Fort Lauderdale FAU. And that's kind of a huge deal. It was like 380 submissions worldwide and mine got picked. My little ditty film got picked. So, you know, I guess I got to gloat a little bit. But let me not get a big head for too long, because I also got to talk about this film that I worked on now, Ginseng. Now, Ginseng, that is a hard baby. Like, honestly, this has been like the hardest thing I've done production-wise, because it was such an ambitious project. Like, it was 7 cast and 6 crew, 13 people in one little office area. And we were trying to make things work. Things were not going our way that day. It was raining all day. We couldn't figure out the equipment. There was a lot. Also, we got flooded in, but that's a story for another day. So yeah, like I learned a lot. I learned a lot for sure from that production, and we're still doing, honestly, so there's still more to learn. But one thing I learned is that you can't have all your eggs in one basket. A big thing I know I struggled with was understanding how long a recording session would take. And this one taught me how long it should take, because the first day, I was super excited to shoot all 14 pages of script, right? And I got like one shot done, not even a scene. I got a shot done, and we were there for like 8 to 10 hours. I felt so bad for my actors. And honestly, this can serve as a YouTube apology video, except I didn't do anything, crazy. But yeah, so sorry, my actors, each and every one of you. I could do names right now, but I'll keep the names for later for the credits. But yeah, it taught me a lot. It taught me that my pace as a younger director, at least, is to have the shoot be 6 to 7 pages of script a day. So let's take Ginseng, which is 14 pages. Then my script would probably take 2 or 3 days to shoot. Let's take Dog Ear. That one was only 6 to 7 pages. I believe 8, but that was just because like action stuff. So that would take 1 day to film. So yeah, I also learned that key light is very important. Now, key light is a film term used to describe the main source of light in the scene. So whether that's like a window that's open, or maybe there's like ceiling lights just like this shining down, these are key lights because these are lights that are established to the audience. Now, I bring this up because in the room that we were operating in, there was a big window to the cityscape. That was our key light. And the problem was that it was raining all day, so we barely got any light. Ergo, we had no good lighting for the actors to show their faces and stuff like that. And what happens when you have no lighting? Either it's all post-production and your film looks really bad, or you don't have a film, right? So that was a lot of the issue on the first day. Luckily, my actors were pretty chill about it, so even though they wanted to do stuff that I probably can't say on air to me, we treated it as like a dress rehearsal. Everybody looked really nice. Our makeup artist did really good. I wish I took pictures to show you guys how it looks, but I'll keep that to the premiere, or keep that for the premiere. So, actual writing. Let's get to script writing because I missed that week, and then we can get into production, right? So let's show you the Ginseng script. And yeah, so this buddy over here, thank you very much. This buddy over here, I'm not going to show you the whole script because it is a psychological drama. And if you guys, I see you over there, if I show the page, you guys are going to screen cap it real quick and read what happens. I'm not going to do that. No. So what we're going to do is look at the first couple pages. I'm going to stop at like Act 1. And you see here that unlike Dog Ear, which was a silent film, there is a lot more dialogue between these characters. So there are 7 characters. If you remember from 2 weeks ago, you have a chocolate, but that they are Ginger, Isa, Greer, North, Salone, Ezra, and I have to remember all of my characters. Nat, thank you. Okay, so those are my 7 characters, and they're all discussing which one deserves to sleep in a room where they haven't slept in like a week or 2 weeks. And this ginseng tea is the way that they can sleep, but they just have to decide like which one deserves, honestly, which one doesn't deserve to die. Because if you don't sleep for a while, you can die, and it's a very scary illness that we don't talk about. So, I don't have to get into it, but like heart attacks are a big one, So yeah, that's the idea of the story. And I knew that with something as dramatic and intense as this, I needed there to be a lot of dialogue. So for me, what I like to do is establish how the characters are, like what their personalities are before putting them in a room together. Because what I'm essentially doing is putting unlikely characters and sticking them in an elevator where they can't leave. And when people say, if you ever hear people say stuff like, I have to find my characters, I have to learn them, even though they wrote the characters, why wouldn't they know them? The reason is because the character, after a certain amount of time, gains its own agency, and how they interact with other characters that you, again, have written will be different to, let's say, how you would react to another person that has a different personality, right? When you write a character, it's always a facet of yourself. And even when you're like writing somebody that's like, oh, they're totally not like me, in that sense, they are a facet of yourself because you're using yourself as a template and creating the negative version of yourself. So everything you write has something to do with you. So I knew that in order to have this story be believable and how dynamic these characters could be, I needed a little help with what I like to use is the 16 personalities test, right? So the 16 personalities test, if you don't know what that is, it's like, how do I explain this? I'll use my personality type, right? So mine's is ENFP, which means extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and prospecting, right? They have subcategories for each person. Each personality type has 4 subcategories. And basically with this 100 question test, you can figure out which personality type you are. Now, it doesn't tell you what type of person you are. It basically tells you what brain space you're working with and how you can navigate around that. And it helps me out with myself and figuring out how characters would think. Because if you have 7 characters, right, there's always going to be bound, it's always bound to have like a little bit of, oh, yourself is showing, right? And that's kind of what at least I don't want to do. I don't want to have myself showed in my characters unless I try to make it that way. So let's use Greer, for example. They're the first person that talks, right? Actually, no, Isa is. So let's use Isa. So Isa is a stalwart character. They stand strong. They want to be the rock for people, especially in this desperate situation, right? So their first line is literally, I would like to remind you all to treat everyone here with respect. Though we haven't slept for days, now is not the time to lash out and forget ourselves. So I knew that for Isa, I wanted a character that could keep people in their place, rein everybody in, but also have a bit of humanity to them. So their personality type is the commander, and I believe off dome, I believe is ENTJ, which is extroverted, intuitive, thinking, and judging. So that would help them, make decisions for the group, such as I'm going to make sure that everybody stays humane. I'm going to be that rock for people. That is a huge decision in a group of people that haven't slept for days. Remind you, if you haven't slept for like 2 days, you already feel insane. These people haven't slept for a week. So I definitely wanted to show that in Isa. And the personality test kind of helped me do that because I know that if I was in Isa's shoes, I'd be like, well, I'm out. I'm drinking the tea. Sorry, you drank it, So that helped a lot. Let's use Greer, right? Their personality type is entrepreneur. And it's not like I'm in my bag, get your money, bag. It's not that. It's they're the type of people that go around in a party talking to everybody because they want to, not to get to know them, but understand how they can help them. You know what I mean? Like, they're the type of people that remember occupation, right? So, oh, they're a lawyer. Oh, they're poli-sci, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They get to know people and what they do because it's interesting to them, not for like it's interesting just in general. Not to say that they use people, but it kind of is like that, right? So Greer, who is in this room, kind of distrustful. They're very straightforward. They're like the arrow. If Ice is the rock, then Greer is the arrow. They're like, all right, who here thinks they deserve some sleep? Let me hear some cases. If you're going to talk, though, say your name. Mine is Greer, right? They're very straightforward. Even if they don't care about coming off as curt. They just want to get their point across and make sure everybody listens because they are right. And they know they're right. So yeah, we have personalities like that. These are strong personalities in this room. And there's also some characters with more docile and weaker personalities like Nat. Now let's use Nat, for example. Page 2. Their first line, I skipped, sorry. Their first line is, hi, Nat here. Great, you look mad tired. Maybe you should go to you. So I don't need to talk about the personality type, but they are the advocate, right? They they're like in a room where everybody's like, no, you're clearly wrong. The advocate would be like, well, maybe they're not wrong. Devil's advocate, that's where that comes from, right? So yeah, Nat is very much like the pacifist that's trying to understand all sides. And that's kind of where the story I originally wanted to go, where like, because people don't want to hurt another person, nothing really gets done. There isn't a selfish bone in their body. So who's the one that gets salvation, right? So I wanted to play around with that a little bit. And I knew that Nats would be important for this, even though they seem pretty normal, honestly, compared to Greer and Isa. So I want to talk about now, not dialect, but colloquialism in writing, right? Because there are characters that talk like this with the aptitude of, a scholar of Yale, or there's people that are just chilling, what's up, bro? On God, no cap, bet. There's people like that. And I needed it to be believable for this story because it's such a human story. So if you notice that Isa kind of speaks the most inhumane out of the bunch, like, I will ensure all of you will remain human, you guys won't lose your humanity, right? Compared to Nat, which is, on God, no cap, that's facts, that's crazy. I wanted it to be that way because Isa is honestly kind of an unbelievable character on purpose. Now in Act 3, something happens that I don't need to tell you yet, but I really can't tell you what happens with Isa, but I did that on purpose for that effect of what happens in Act 3. Nat in general is just pretty straightforward in understanding that they're not an opaque character. They're kind of transparent. Like, they help people because they want to help people, and they don't sugarcoat things, and they don't have an air of eloquence about them because they're just trying to get their point across. They don't want to sound like the president with confusing terminology, right? So that's Nat. Ezra's kind of the same way. They're a little bit confused because of memory loss. And I don't have to talk about North, and I don't have to talk about Salone, because that's its own can of worms. But yeah, I want to go back to my original point of like putting these characters in an elevator, right? Because that's how, when I was learning how to write, that's kind of how I understood it. My professor made me understand it. When you're writing a character, you're writing a person, right? And I'm not saying like, oh, your characters are people, they're real people. They are written to be real people depending on how nuanced you want them to be, but characters are characters. They are part of you, as I explained before, but I knew that with a cast of 7, I wanted these people to be as separated as possible while understanding that they are coming from me. So maybe they think something that I would think that an actual commander wouldn't think. There's always going to be those little hiccups. But how I can separate myself from these characters is conflict, right? If something happens in the story, if something bad happens to a person, that is a huge opportunity to take that character and show what they really are, right? Because when we're under a lot of stress, we all operate instinctually, unless you're just like a military spy ex-soldier, right? And you're trained to handle stress like that. We all handle stress in different ways, especially in this story, I wanted to show that these characters react in different ways in high stress. So I'm kind of speaking around what happens because psychological drama. If you knew what happened, there would be no psychological and there would be no drama, right? But I knew that conflict would be the main way to understand these characters and how they process tragedy. Honestly, this event that happens to them, they didn't decide this, it happens to them. So yeah, I knew that the interactions between characters would be special and different for each and every one of them. And I knew that some characters just won't straight up like each other. Like there's some moments where Greer just like hates Salome, and there's other moments where Ginger gravitates towards Issa because of their personalities, and also because of the situation that calls for it. You know, maybe I'm not even speaking English right now. I need a little bit of water, so why not take a commercial break? I will get hydrated real quick, and after I have some water, we'll get right back into talking about production, and I'll see you soon.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Hope you grabbed some popcorn. Pitch to Production comes back in 5, 4, 3. And welcome back. Now, that was water, not tea, but I feel great, I feel refreshed, I feel hydrated. Let's get into this production talk. So, when you're going to production, at least for me, it is a very organized process. Because if it's not organized, I feel like it's prone to fall apart rather quickly. So what I like to do is make a shot list and a storyboard. So I want to show you guys what a storyboard looks like, which is this. So a storyboard is basically, sorry, 1 second. That water hit the wrong pipe. I'm trying not to cough because the lab's right here. 1 second. Okay, we're good. So a storyboard is basically how you want the movie to look, right? So it shows the important shots, your shots. It shows the cinematographer how you want the shots to look. I'm hoping that my neck isn't hitting the laugh. If it is, I am sorry. But it's good? Okay, great. So you see right here where it says key. I talked about key light before we were paying attention. That's part of the quiz. So the key light, let's say that this is the window, right? Coming in to the window, and then the fill light is the inorganic light that lights up the rest. So you want, depending on the shot you want, if you want dramatic shadows, then there's probably no fill light. If you don't want it and you just want a complete image, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Abraham. Then fill light's basically TLDR. It fills the image. It makes sure that you don't have too much shadow, so you can see a person's whole face or you see the entire subject, right? So yeah. Now, if you look to the right of the storyboard, you see camera 1, 50mm lens, close-up shot, key light, and script, right? So what my cinematographer, Nastasia, was doing was saying what inventory we should use, which camera, how the shot should look, and how the lighting should be, and what part of the script is the shot for. If you don't have any of these, then there's room for confusion. She was very thorough about this storyboard, so props to her. She was the GOAT. I said that, so I shouldn't say that. That's out of pocket. The GOAT. So I don't have to talk about 50mm lens or anything like that. That's just basically how a certain look It gives the film a certain look, right? Lenses, I don't have to talk about that. This isn't a tech channel, this is a writing channel. So, yeah, close-up shot, She basically went through all of Act 2 and showed, without any spoilers, showed how she wanted each shot to look. And yeah, so I'm not going to show it after that because it gets into spoiler territory. So that's a very important thing for both directors and cinematographers, even producers, because sometimes storyboards include props. Like in the first one, you saw a cup, the ginseng teacup. That tells prop designers, yeah, we need that cup for this shot. It tells cinematographers, yeah, I want that close-up with this light looking like that. It tells the director, I know what shot I'm going for because I'm doing a close-up and because I'm doing a 50mm lens. So it's very essential, honestly, to have a storyboard and a shot list. Now, I didn't talk about shot lists this time, but for Dog Year, I believe I talked about it a little bit. So a shot list is a worded version of all the shots you want to use. And honestly, I thought when I came into Ginseng that the storyboard, having a storyboard and a shot list was overkill. It is not overkill. That shot list helped so much in the second day of recording. And because when you have images for the storyboard where you just see what it looks like and not the practicality of the shot, then you kind of screw yourself over, because once you have that shot in the storyboard, you lose time trying to set up the next shot in the storyboard. Because you see here, we have isolated shot right there. We have isolated teacup shot and then straight to a room shot. That takes a lot of preparation. That takes a lot of prep work. With a shot list, what it does, it tells us, yeah, camera 1 should be the teacup and camera 2 should be the group shot. That way you can it takes less time to set up the next shot, or if you're good, you already have that shot set up while you have the teacup shot. So it helps with preparation that much more. Honestly, if you're asking me, I said that so weird, I prefer the shot list over the storyboard any day. So yeah, that helped a lot. I learned that the importance of a shot list. Now let's get into a lookbook, right? So what you're looking at is a storyboard. This is a lookbook. Now this is kind of just like a storyboard, but now it's super high quality HD 4KX, right? This is just what the movie should look like, or the looks they're trying to replicate. So the importance of this is that you probably won't be able to you can visualize it because there's a little comic here, but you probably won't be able to really compartmentalize in your mind how the shot will look until you see a real life example, right? Because this looks completely different from this just based off of angle, but she kind of nailed the shot. Let's see another one here. So this is even more confusing because you have eye level, low angle, and eye level, right? But what she really wants is the camera on when she's sitting like here, and then when we get up, the camera stays low, but we see her body. And then when we get to the window, the camera's back on her face. That's pretty much what she wanted to describe. And I needed the lookbook for that shot. Another one, punching the wall. Yeah, these are pretty simple. Some of them are just like spot on, dead on, like this one. Can I scroll down more? I don't think I can. Okay, so it's just a character punching a wall. Yeah, so if I were to break it down to simple necessities, needs, I'd say you need a shot list, you need a storyboard, and you need inventory. You need to keep track of which camera is for which, because if camera 1's all the way over here and you have camera 2 open, you don't want to get that shot from camera 1 and move all the way over there. What you want to do is get camera 1 and already have camera 2 set up so that you don't waste all your time. Time is money, light is time, and I don't have a third line, but it would have sounded cool if I did, right? So the production itself was very hard, and that's going to be the motif today. A lot of things went wrong, but I'm also an amateur director, and I'm not going to say it wasn't my fault, because it is. It's my inexperience as a director. But what I took away from it was valuable, because I feel like especially for film, every bad experience you have, if you don't adapt and you don't get better after that day, then you're just going to stay at the same place, and you're not going to get the people you want in your work, right? So what did I learn? I learned that recording should be 6 to 7 pages of script. For my pace, that's my pace. You might do it faster, you might do it slower, but my pace is 6 to 7 pages. B, you want to get the shots that include your key light, natural light, or room light first. So let's say you have a window that's here, right? the sun is only up for, let's say, 12 hours, ballpark figure. So if you're recording all day, the sun is definitely going to look different in the shot. So you want to record the shots next to the window, back to back to back, so that the scene can look like it's the same time of day. And when you're not showing the window, you can just color correct it. You can change the lighting of it to make it look like it's the same time of day. That's not that hard. What is hard is telling Mr. Sun to go back into the sky at the position of 2 p.m. when it's 5 p.m., you know? What's another thing I learned? Buy food for your cast. I did that, luckily. If I didn't, I would have been eaten alive. So definitely do that. And another thing I learned is know your equipment before you shoot. One of the biggest issues was that I couldn't figure out how to get the audio to work on this new device I never tried before. And I honestly should have taken the time to learn it instead of wasting everybody's time in the shoot. So yeah, I learned that for sure, and I am learning how to use that. I'm not going to use that for this shoot because I'm still new at it, still amateur at it, so I'm going to use what I'm already comfortable with and apply that knowledge to another shoot or the future shoot, right? Yeah, I learned quite a bit. So if you guys have any comments, let me know below, except you probably won't comment, but if you do, that'd be dope, right? You get a cookie. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching my little rambling, my little fast speech, you know, but it really does help out when you guys watch these. It really does. Speaking as a younger, you know, like aspiring director and a story writer, right? My stuff doesn't get seen unless I have an audience. And I feel like a big thing that people have in the industry is that there tends to be like a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not idiosyncrasy, like a little, I don't know, like a rumor or a superstition that like the audience doesn't really matter as long as the art is there. But I need an audience in order to see the art, right? So I appreciate that you guys come to my show and, you know, get to understand my process with me, even if it is a little scrambled and a little, you know, everywhere. But yeah, tune in next week. Ginseng probably won't be done because it's a big project. So it probably won't be done this month. Probably May, hopefully May, actually. It will be May. I'm making it May, putting that in my mind right now. You'll see it in May. Keep a lookout for the finalized version of Dog Ear, because once that's in the film festival, I will put it back up. Good audio, good, or new color grade. I can talk about that another time. So yeah, it's a step up, and I want to give a shout out to my boy Joshua Martin for making this promo art. It is super sick. Can I see that? Can I get a clap? Can I see that art real quick? Oh, I kind of zoomed in a little bit. Whoop, 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 whoop. 1 second. Can I see that art real quick? Because this is insane. I never had somebody do like promotional art for a short film I did. This is the first one, and it came out amazing. Look how dramatic that looks. For deep sleep. Ginseng tea. You know, that sounds crazy. That sounds cool. So I appreciate that. I'm definitely going to use that for like a poster. So thank you very much, Joshua Martin. You can follow him on Instagram, you know. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you would watch Ginseng. And now, as I like to end every show, hold on. I always forget this. I don't know why. But what does that say? Oh yeah, and that's a wrap. And we're out. You've been watching P2P Production. Join in next week as we keep the ball rolling and the ideas flowing.